this week is week 6, so maybe some of you already done your midterm kan. Yesterday, Sunday morning, my another class which is Introduction to SE. That's why actually it comes to wrong setting that I put in the announcement to your group. Actually, it's supposed to be the another group. Pening lah. Lecturer pun dah ni sikit lah because I do some setting tersilap group lah pula. Anyway, the information that you get because one of your friends sent me the announcement actually is, then I noticed that it was wrongly sent to your group. Okay, anyway, it's confirmed that your midterm will be on Saturday, kan? On 28th. Okay, so if you have any problem or any duplicate with any other lecture or anything, just mention to me, yeah. So me as well, still in terms of because this is the semester that we are fully conducting the class online, right? So it will be I need to ask some of my friends actually how they conduct to get the best way lah, actually to get the best way how we can conduct the class or the midterm lah, especially coming for the assessment more effectively, right? So while waiting for others, now we have 26. Okay, so for our lecture today, still on chapter 3, and with that I try to complete with the chapter. Okay, actually we have a few slides more, just to get to give you to remind you that we are covering up to chapter 3, yeah, for the midterm, okay, which is on the cost estimation. Okay, so for cost estimation is more on calculation. What we are trying to consider now is that for the question how, because it will be different setting, different arrangement, in a way of we have to consider the problems as well during the exam or during the midterm. And for my experience yesterday for Introduction to SE, our another class is that is on possibly other factors that we should consider. Okay, because later you have to do written, yeah, you have to do your written handwritten answer, and then you have to send to us you have to snap your answers and send to us the file. Okay, so for the arrangement later, I will modify lah in terms of the guideline to be specific to our course. But basically, if you have seen the file, it's actually the arrangement more or less the same. Okay, so it will be the way that fully from there we can in terms of better arrangement and considering alternative way as well. Okay, so any problems I will monitor during the midterm, and if there is any problems later, you should mention to me. Okay. Let me share the slide. So for those who are waiting for the slide, for those who are still a bit not confused, but sometimes you have problems in terms of doing the drawing for the scheduling. So you should have you should make your exercise like you should have more exercise on that, because 1 hour for the assessment is very short actually, right? Because we covered 3 chapters and all have in terms of in terms of assessment itself. Right. Inshallah, I try to record later when I start the class. Hold on. The chapter. Okay, chapter 3. Okay. Okay. Right. I think we stop here. Um, yeah. Okay. Record ya, record. Sekejap. Pak Isanwan left. Kenapa? Network tak okay ke? Okay. So I'm sharing the slide now. Okay, I'm recording now. Okay. So for the slide, it will be okay. Can you see the slide? Yes, can you see?
Yes.
Yes, Doc.
All right. So chapter 3, just a bit of review, which is on cost estimation. We have the algorithmic and non-algorithmic model for the estimating the cost, and for the algorithmic model, of course, we are using some formulas, and now we are on the COCOMO. Okay, so COCOMO have 4 submodels for the cost estimation, and the last one is post-architecture level, post-architecture model, which is considering in terms of the formulas, which is effort equal to A multiplied by size power of B and multiply by M. Okay, M is the multiplier. So on the multiplier, we have for the post architecture, we have 17 multipliers. Although you don't have to remember all those 17, but it fall under a few categories lah. And on the multiplier itself, it will give some indication in terms of those multiplier. You have a clear, more clear in terms of how much it will affect on the cost estimation. Okay, and then those multipliers, if I go for this one, okay, fall under 4 categories. Okay, product attributes, computer attributes, person attributes, and project attributes. Okay, and each of the attributes, those 17 multipliers will be considered these 4 attributes. Okay, category of attributes. Okay, so in terms of if you use the tool, basically the tool will ask you how much is your estimation, either is fall under low or high. Okay, so it will have low, very low, all that, and all those categories have their value for the which is given already. Of course, in terms of that, we don't have to memorize all those, but in a way of those values may influence in terms of your calculation, your result on the cost estimation. What else? Okay. With that, we should consider in terms of those multipliers, so that we may have more precisely clear in terms of how it will influence on the cost itself. Right? And these multipliers, there are specific table which in the midterm or in your final letter will provide the table, and the table is as your reference in terms of to get to get the value for the multiplier. Okay, and I think I stopped here before in our last class on Wednesday last week, which is that they actually I did also ask how we get the 730 per month here. Basically, the formula it comes from here lah. Just now they mentioned, right? The basic formula it comes from here. Okay. Okay, this is a basic formula. Right. So PM is a person month equal to A multiply by size power of B and multiply by M. Okay. So I did we did some exercise before, right? In terms of calculation. So what I want to continue now is that usually for the A, it will be provided based on the type of project. Okay. Sorry. So for the type of project. And so for this one, meaning that the 730 per month here, it represents the effort without the value of the M multiplier, right? Okay, and then below that, given reliability, complexity, memory constraint, tool use, and schedule, that is the listed multipliers which is may effect on the project. Okay, we have 17 as I mentioned just now, but for this example, it's considered that these 5 multiplier will affect the project, meaning that assuming the another 12 is nominal. Nominal means that it equal to 1.0 is normal. Okay, so it doesn't affect for the cost estimation on the effort, right? With this example given here, the value, for example, reliability very high, complexity very high, the multiple value based on the table. I'll show the table later. This is the value. Memory constraint high, okay, which is 1.21, tool use low, schedule accelerated, okay, which is 1.29. Okay, in terms of calculation, your class, okay, in terms of calculation, can you have your calculator now, your calculator or in your smartphone, okay, can you calculate how much is the effort, okay, when you consider the multiplier. Okay, so using the data provided to you here, can you calculate the cost, the effort estimation based on the multiplier value? Can you calculate now? How to calculate? Okay. Of course, you have the answer here, but how you come out with 2,306 per month? Okay. Do you get the value 2,306? Can you calculate now? That is in terms of the working, right? How it works, but the value, can you get 2,306? Okay. So you have to multiply all those M, right? Am I correct? Plus, Aina? Ya, Aina. Mana Aina? Tanya PA dulu. Siapa tadi cakap? Siapa tu? Hafiz. Yalah. Saya tak tahu. Ha? Nazrin. Okay, thank you Nazrin. Aina. Mana Aina? Lama ni. Calculator pun tak buka lagi ni. Aina?
Doktor, mic dia maybe tak function.
Okay. Taufik Zaidong?
Ya, betul.
How you get the number, the figure?
Dapat
2006. How you do it? How you perform the calculation?
initial estimate tu, Kokomo estimate tu kali dengan semua multiplier.
Okay. Okay. What the value of M? How much is the value?
Dia 306.078 sebanyak lagi nombor tu.
No. I ask you the value of M.
M multiplier tu kan?
How much is the value of M? Saya pun baru nak kira. Tadi dah kira.
Untuk M sajalah. Kan?
Yeah.
Ya.
I'm asking you the value of M now.
Ya, betul.
What's the value of M?
3.16.
3.1?
6.
3.16. Okay. You run out, right? Okay. So now 3.16, then you can multiply it by 730, right? Then you get 2,306.
Yes.
Okay. Nurul Syafika, ada tak? Nurul Syafika? Tuan Sharifah?
Saya.
Dapat tak?
Dapat
Yeah. What's your value of M?
kalau tak bunda 3.159011. 3.16 lah.
3.16. Okay. Thank you. Obichi, are you there? Muaj ada? Are you there, Muaj? Francisco?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah,
Yes, doctor.
Any questions?
Yeah,
You get the figure?
yeah. I multiplied 730 with the multipliers. Then I got 2,306.
All right. So what's your M value? M value multiplier. Can you give me a value for M?
You mean the multiply from the very high multiplier, or
the value for my M multiplier, which is consists for reliability complex. For this example, if for this particular slide, which is consists on the reliability complexity, that five multiplier listed there on the slide. So what is the value for M? Because all those you have to multiply the value of each.
Okay, it has to be multiplied differently to get its value.
For this example, okay, for this particular example.
Okay, I'll check, doctor, and I'll get back to you now.
Okay. Okay, I repeat again, for those who still this one. For this particular example, it's already given to you that the initial COCOMO estimate without cost driver. Cost driver is the multiplier, M value, meaning that for this example, 730 consists of the value of A times size power of B, right? Without the M multiplier. Then when we consider those value on the M multipliers, then we get this effort. Okay. What we want to show from this slide is actually with the cost drivers and also without the cost drivers and with the cost drivers. Okay, so it will give you different value, different estimation for the effort. Okay, so meaning that it possibly can be higher, it can be lower. Okay, so in terms of that, what we want to show is that when you use the multiplier in terms of that may influence your person month, the effort, it will give different value. Okay, the same goes with this one. Okay, with this one, which is in terms of cost drivers, the effect will be different. Okay, then with the exponent value is the same here. Okay, 1.17. Okay, the exponent value. Okay, with that, when you consider, you have to multiply all this and then you get the figure. Okay, just to show in terms of comparison.
So, doctor, which means the value is like 3.15.
Okay, this one.
No,
Okay,
for the other one.
if
The
you look
value for the
in terms
multipliers.
of the multipliers, the attributes here is the same,
Okay.
but in the way of like this one is nominal, this one is nominal or normal, okay, compared to this
Yes.
one, right? So of course the
Yes.
value for M also will become out different. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Check. What else want to join this? Right. Okay. That is in terms of the calculation. Instead of we have in terms of the what we call in terms of the effort, another one is that in terms we can also estimate in terms of the time development, which is how long the project should be taken. I mean how long the time for the development in terms of duration. Okay, so in terms of that, for the project duration, effort estimation, managers also must estimate the calendar time. We have done before in chapter 2, which is we use Gantt chart, list of activities, and also duration and dependency. Okay, but for this cost estimation also, we can use the model in terms of estimating the time, the duration for that particular development. Okay, so here is the formulas, which is consists of time development. Okay, fee is the which is given already. Person month. This is actually the effort that we calculate previous calculation. Okay, on the effort. Person month is the effort just now. Okay, multiply by this figure, which is we have also the B value, the exponent value. Okay, the exponent value. And with that, we can have the calculation for the time development given in terms of month. In mind. Okay, so person month or the effort computation, and B is the exponent computed as discussed in B is the one for the early time model. This computation predict the nominal schedule for the project. Okay, so the time required is independent of number of people working on the project. Okay, I'll go for that one, then I'll show you on the calculation. Staff required can't be computed by cannot be computed by dividing the development time by the required schedule. Okay, the number of people working on the project varies depending on the phase of the project. Okay, the more people who work on the project, the more total effort is usually required. Okay, so a very rapid build-up of people often correlate with the schedule page. Okay, so in terms of that, from just now on the slide, we can have in terms of duration. Okay, and in terms of that, we can also calculate in terms of how many people are involved in the project. Okay, so in terms of that, Kokomo can help you also do the estimation. Okay. The next slide is about when you use different methodology, development methodology, which is when we are considering using object-oriented project development. Okay, using object-oriented development. So for now, I show to you I think already shown I've shown before, right? I have a copy. Later we put in the class. Kokomo table. We have what is this? A candies for the Kokomo. Okay. What I want to show is that one of the table we can provide to you later actually. I have to find in my drive. You still have the copy for that. Okay, by this. Okay, this one. Project characteristic table. So this is as mentioned before, 70 multipliers, 70 attributes for the multiplier. And this is a value which is that I mentioned if let's say your estimation is on the product attributes, okay, and you estimate that required software reliability is, let's say, low, and then this is a particular value that you consider in your multiplier, the M. Okay. And database size, for example, if it's a high or very high, this is the value. Okay, so each of the attributes here, okay, have their own value in terms of either it's very high, towards high or low. Okay, and for the nominal here, okay, this particular column on the nominal, it will be 1.0, means that that formulas, if you multiply by 1.0, it doesn't affect any values. It doesn't affect. So what we usually do for the estimation is that we consider the attribute which is have a certain indication, either it's very high or is high or low. Yeah, and then you put in your multiplier calculation, and then you get the in terms of how much the effort can be to contribute to that particular calculation on the effort or person month, right? PM. That is in terms of the project characteristic table. So for this particular table, we're going to provide to you. So you don't have to memorize all this. Okay, just to get the in terms of the theory side. So another one that we should consider in terms of this one. So on the Kokomo side, and in terms of value, for there is apa terpanggil the formulas. In the formulas, the value of A, B, C, and D. So these formulas will affect in terms of the, especially on the architecture, post architecture level, and also when you're considering in terms of your calculation for the time development. So you have to you use this value. Okay. So later in your exam, okay, if you cannot remember this value, you can have in front of you. Okay. So for value A, B, C, and D. Okay. So let's say we mentioned that is a organic project. So that is the value for A, which is 2.4, B 1.05. Okay. C is is the same, which is 2.5, and D it will be different based on the project. Okay, type of project. This is a type of project, right? So that will be for value of A. Okay, the formula before, right? Okay, which is if you have certain indication in terms of your type of project, if you consider as embedded, which is very critical, and it relates in terms of certain programming or development, that is considered embedded. If semi-detached, usually is medium. Medium means that it's not that complex. It's not that it's not that simple. It's not that complex. So it will be semi-detached. Organic, usually the one that is basic, simple project. A normal project which is considering in terms of like you can get the programmers in terms of the skill for the developer is available, and it's sort of more or less the same with more or less with other project in the same domain, and it's not that complex, so it will be organic or simple, right? So this value for A, B, C, and D are going to use for the more in terms of considering on the time development, and also how calculating how many people should involve in the project. Okay. So for this one, the value you can jot down or you can find it later. So this one usually is this that is embedded in the, not embedded, but it should be decide when you perform your calculation what type of project you are estimating. Okay, class. Do you have any question? Soalan tak ada? Okay. So the part now that we have on the calculation is this one also. It will be part of your assessment later as well, so you should understand on this. Which form? Check. The form on the time development. So I should find another form. This one. I have a file for this one for the calculation. I should find maybe in my office. I think the file is my office. I can't find in my emails or in my backup file. Okay. If I found that one, I will give to you. Example of calculation in others. Check. So from this example here, method of, okay. Just I don't want you to confuse because they use D here. Okay. They use different apa ni kita panggil ni, the E stand for effort for this example. So it will be a bit confused for you lah kalau if you're not familiar with that. Very different notation. I think better this one, I give you some example of calculation lah, my own lah, example senang sikit. Okay, check. Okay. This one. Okay, I skip that one first. Later, when I have a complete set of exercise, later I will explain to you. Right. So I just proceed first. Leave it for a while, and then we go back for that particular calculation for this one, which is we're going to calculate on the time development and also in terms of time required. Okay. Because in terms of that, from this formula, you can do estimation in terms of the effort, and the value of the effort you can later use in terms of to estimate on the time development, how long the project should be taken, should be allocated, and then also in terms of how many staff should be involved for the project. Okay, possibly later you may have different value estimation when you use cost estimation as your to get the value for the development, time development and staffing, number of people should involve with the project planning and scheduling. However, it doesn't mean that you have to exactly follow all those, because it's just estimation. Then it comes to your judgment in terms of which one you want to decide on that particular estimation, right? Okay, so I leave that first for the calculation. Later I'll try to find out some of my exercise, previous exercise. Okay, next I move on in terms of estimation for object-oriented project. Okay, this is what we call in terms of considering the current development methodology, which is most of the project are using object-oriented development. Okay, and we know in terms of object-oriented development, in terms of, for example, agile, RAD, that is object-oriented. There are many examples in terms of what are the methodology using object-oriented development. Okay, so in terms of the object-oriented development, that we have, I think, not I think, but in your curriculum actually class is mostly considered in terms of object-oriented development. Even like Java is part of the programming language which is reside on that particular development itself. Right, so in terms of that, when we estimating using object-oriented development, it will also reflect in terms of the nature of the development, right? So, for example, here on those project categorize the type of interface for the application and develop a multiplier for support classes. So, in terms of interface type, for example, if you consider in terms of how much value for the multiplier. Okay, for example, interface type mentioned in here. Okay, interface type, number of GUI, text-based user interface, GUI, and also the complex GUI, okay, graphical user interface. So in terms of that, this is a multiplier based on the example. Then it will give you in terms of calculation, okay. For this particular example, for this particular chapter and this estimation on the object-oriented project, we are not, I would say we are not concentrating in detail, okay, but in a way of the idea in terms of the estimation, we just put in very rough ideas lah. So we are not focused on that very detail, because the aim is that for students to understand in terms of the estimation and what are the available cost estimation model that you can use for estimating your project. Okay, so outside there are many models actually, but this is part of the models that are available for you later to do the estimation. Yeah? So it's impossible for us to cover all, but to get some, to give you some example in terms of the estimation itself. Okay, so this is in terms of object-oriented project lah. Okay, cross-check the class-based estimation by multiply the average work of work units per purpose. Okay, so it will be the idea in terms of to get the effort. Okay, so how you get the effort later is up to your estimation lah. Later, okay, if in the tool later there are specific estimation which is for the object-oriented project. So this is a way maybe you can follow that calculation to suit with your development methodology, right? Okay. So agile project, okay, when you're talking about agile, you consider in terms of like Scrum methodology. They are repeating in terms of each of the activity are repeating until they get the satisfied result, and then they move on to the next cycle. So that is in terms of agile. Okay, so in terms of that, for example, here, each user scenario is considered separately for estimation purposes. Okay, so scenario is decomposed into the set of software engineering tasks that will be required to develop it. So meaning that in terms of the scenario, in terms of the use cases, then you consider in terms of how much values and also number of function point or line of code, usually function point. Okay, or if you can do your estimation in terms of counting, in terms of line of code, then you put in there. Okay, but we are not putting the detail formula everything here. Okay. There is another one that you may also use this one, which is when we consider in terms of alternative development, alternative way of development. For example, here either the system X is to be built, okay, either it put in terms of contract. Okay, contract means that you provide the announcement, the tender, and then you call for the company to bid for the tender. That is on the contract basis. Either you want to buy, okay, buy possibly maybe buy the existing of the shelf or available system in the market. It's already made, right? Or reuse, okay, or build. So this is alternative way of in terms of the to have the system X. Okay, so in terms of this is when we are considering alternative way, and then we have to make the decision. Okay, and that is what part of the decision making, how to assist on decision making, which option is the best one. Okay, so so what put in here in terms of the values which is to represent in terms of the possibility, okay. For example, on the build here, either it can be a simple or difficult. Either to build is a simple decision or it's a difficult one, okay. Or minor or simple, okay. Minor, major, and then major will be simple, complex. So each value will be I think it's in terms of weightage, okay, out of 1, okay, for the particular option, and then you put in from there, you can get the value. Okay, how to get the value? Using this formula. Okay, we are not going to ask you on this one. Okay, computing expected cost equal to sum of path probability, okay, of I times estimated path cost for I. Okay, so this is the one lah. I'm not. You possibly later pun, if you have maybe in your tool that you select for the tool, and then you possibly can put in the values lah. Okay, usually this value as well is embedded inside the tool. Possibly the things that you should provide is these values lah, in terms of the weightage here. Okay, weightage out of 1. Okay. This concept actually is on the weightage. I can remember one of the models which is on the weightage. I used that one actually for my PhD, where we have in terms of the weightage, and then we can calculate in terms of which one is the best decision. Okay, they guide you up to that lah. Okay, when we considering, for example, here, when you have the cost here, okay, and which are the alternative from the option here in terms of the weightage, and then get the value, and which one is the best, up to the decision makers lah. And then usually the decision are decided by the management lah. Okay, possibly for the developer level, they provide this one to represent in terms of numerical estimation, and also using justification, and from there they get the value. Okay, so this is one of the options. Okay, so in terms of that, cost estimation, I think I'm not up to the key points yet, yeah, but I need to have this one. I need to do this one because this is also including written later lah, for this one. So any question before I proceed this one? I need to find my material first. Anything to ask? Anything to ask, Mas? Okay. So can we have like 10-minute breaks? You have your lunch? No, I mean breakfast already.
No.
No. Okay, you should have your breakfast before class. At least lah, your drinks lah. Your tea, coffee, coffee, Nescafe ke. At least lah kelas. Toaster, kan? Roti bakar sedap juga pagi-pagi.
Kalau masak.
Masak? Wow.
Belum. Komen.
Hold on, I stop recording first. Dah cakap macam-macam. Okay. So with that, we have a break for 10 minutes. So we continue 11:15. Is that okay? 11:15 so I just macam ni pun tak apa. I will apa tu? Unmute and also stop my video first, right? While I'm looking for my material. Alright, so with that, see you in 15 minutes, yeah? Bye.
Doktor, dah 11.20.
Ya, mari je.
Assalamualaikum. Sorry,
Breakfast dulu.
I'm still looking for the file. My email cannot find from the email. My hard disk, because this is my new computer pun, I didn't manage to find it. So I think we stop for today. Just now I tried to modify some of the exercise. Exercise I didn't find for the cost estimation, but I tried to modify from the previous question that we asked from our test bank, but tak sempat lah class. So what I decide is that after I modify or look on the exercise, I will upload the file to your Putra Blast. You can do the exercise, and for that we are going to discuss that one on Wednesday before your midterm lah, because your midterm is on the Saturday, right? So Wednesday we are going to focus on the exercise for the cost estimation only, right? Is it okay? After this, when I complete the file, then I will upload. Then you can do your exercise first. Besides, you do your revision, and then okay, we are going to discuss that on Wednesday. Is it okay? Alright, so we still have another half an hour. You can allocate for your revision. Okay. You have class at 12, class? Ada kelas pukul 12?
Ada, Doktor.
Ada. Okay. Panggil nama.
Faiz tipu.
Kan yang I nak buka, suruh buka video baru kenal.
Buka video.
Buka video,
Buka video.
laju je.
Video.
Kan?
Tapi tak ready.
Nak.
Hey, kan tak kenal pula studentnya.
Buka video.
Okay, Maharas saya kenal lah last semester.
Buka video lah Lip.
Tak boleh dah aku tak ready.
Okay, project meeting. Siapa? Okay. Maharas.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay.
Morning.
Wasik Sata. Wasik. Which one is Wasik? Wasik. Are you there? Ini dah mandi ke belum?
Ha?
Dah mandi ke belum?
Belum.
Where are you, Wasik? Mana Wasik? Ada? Okay, Maliha.
Yes, Doctor.
Mana ada? Rani?
Yes, doctor.
Mana Rani?
Yes, doctor.
Time ni lah you nak tengok kawan-kawan. Mana Rani? Rani tak buka video. Liu ni memang tak ada. Oh, kenal tak Liu? Kenal tak Liu? Ha? You all kenal tak Liu?
Tak, Doctor.
Ha?
Kenal member-member.
Ya, tapi dia tak ada lah. In my class dia tak ada.
Dia dari sen lepas macam tu tak?
Ha? Dari sem lepas macam ni? Okay.
Dia lupa drop kot.
Hello.
Awal ke?
Dia senarai bukan latest kot. Nanti I check. OBC?
Yes, doctor.
OBC? Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Anything to ask? Are you okay on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm okay on Saturday at that time. Yeah.
So Zaman, where are you?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Alright. Okay. Watch.
Yes, Doctor, I'm here.
Okay. Aina? Aina ada tak? Aina ada. Kenapa tu Aina? Are you having problem with jam video? Ni kamera? Faris? Okay, Taufik, mana Taufik? Taufik ada?
Ada Doktor.
Dinesh?
Ada,
Doktor. Syazwani?
Ada.
Okay. Fahim Adlin?
Ada.
Syahrul Syazwan?
Ada.
Aisyah Akila?
Ada, doktor.
Nurul Syafika?
Ada, doktor.
Syafika. Okay. Tuan Sharifah? Ada tadi kan? Tuan Sharifah ada? Sabar je lah ni. Tak ada senyap ni? Tuan Sharifah? Muhammad Hanif? Muhammad Khairi?
Ada.
Ni yang mana?
Doktor.
Oh, dah. Okay.
Doktor, berarti mic dia tak function.
Apa?
Tuan.
Tuan. Mic saya tak working. Siapa tu?
Tuan.
Mana? Tuan juga. Okay. Nurul Fatihah. Nurul
Ada,
Fatihah.
doktor. Ada.
Perasan. Okay. Perasan tu duk ni apa? Duk intai apa? Perasan? Kenapa tak buka kamera? Anis ada. Alif ada kan? Nur Hazimah?
Ada.
Ahmad Faiz? Faiz.
Ya, Doktor, saya.
Muhammad Alamak, Faiz lain. Faiz Anwar lain Faiz Anwar.
Saya buat magic. Hilang.
Francis of God.
Adik kawan.
So tadi tengok magic.
Francis. Mana tu Francis?
Hilang.
Hilang dah ni, tak ada ni Lim Jain.
Yes, doctor. Yes.
Abdul Wahab.
Yes, doctor.
Anything to ask, Abdullah?
No, all good. I think last class you didn't call my name.
Last class.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think your attendance on Wednesday. Do you mean Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I put in ni ada. You are here, right?
All right.
Syatman.
Yes, doctor.
Zhang Zirui.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. So with that, I will attach the exercise by hopefully today or tomorrow lah, because tomorrow I'm going to the faculty I have the permission to go to the faculty tomorrow, so hopefully I can access my desktop as well to get the notes lah. Okay, so with that, thank you so much. See you on Wednesday and good luck for your midterm. You have midterm today? Ada ujian lagi? Ya?
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Berapa?
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Okay. So still have time, half an hour to study.
Subjek apa tu?
Subjek apa tu? Subjek apa?
Multimedia.
Multimedia. Alright. Okay, good luck for your midterm.
Patutlah tak ada.
So,
Gelap.
Good.
oh je lah. Alright. Assalamualaikum.
doctor.
Thank you,
doktor.
Hilang.
Thank you, doktor.
Tengok magic. Hilang.
Magicnya tu. Hilang. Okay, bye. Makan dulu sebelum test. Okay. InsyaAllah.
Have a nice day, doctor.
Tak jadi lah.
Bye-bye.
Hilang. Hilang. Weh, jadi dia hilang.
Power dua korang.
Hilang.
Alik dia terbang kat kayangan tu.
Ayah pin.
Dia cek aku kan. Cek kat ni.
Ni yang tak live ni siapa?
Hilang.
Sorok di belakang dinding. Cing.
Agun. Itu member group kita seorang.
Ninja satu ni.
Hilang. Baik aku main saham.
Oh, Alik ajak aku main saham, Alik.
Nak jom.
Oh, mantap lah main saham.